Another really interesting way to control the speed is going to be with what's called time remapping, and that is going to involve adding keyframes onto our speed, and so that we can have parts of our clip that speed up and that gets slower down. It's also called making a speed bump. So I'm going to try to, let's see, I'll zoom in on this clip a little bit more. And if you look up here, hopefully you guys remember that this is the opacity slider. I drag it down and my clip becomes more transparent. I put it back up. That's 100%. So I just want to point that one out because you're going to see in a second another slider or bar like this, but that's going to be for adjusting your speed. And everything is going to look a little different. So right now I can see a thumbnail. What I want to do is right click on my clip, go all the way down to the bottom to where it says show clip keyframe and then time remapping speed. And so notice the way my clip looks changes a little bit. I no longer have the thumbnail vision of it, and I have this bar that is lower down than my opacity one. So this bar is for speed. So I could click and I could drag this down to lower it, or I could go up to make it go faster. But you also could just do right click and go to speed duration and put in like 120% or 50%. So that's not really the beauty of this bar. I'm gonna undo that. And what you want to do with this one is you want to create the keyframes. So I'm on a PC right now, and so I'm holding down the control key. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be the command key. And I'm going to create two keyframes so I'm holding down the control or the command key and clicking on that bar. And now I'm going to take that bar in between and I'm going to drag it down. And as I'm dragging it down, you can see how my time is changing. It changed to 37% here. And my clip also, of course, got a lot longer. So now when it plays back in this section, it's going to play at normal speed, and then it gets to here and it starts to go into extreme slow-mo. So that's the first step. Now normally you don't want your clip to go from its normal speed and then all of a sudden at a different speed. You want there to be a slight transition. So what you want to do is click on your keyframe, and drag it out, and you'll see as you're dragging it's actually splitting in two. So now I have two keyframes here instead of just one, and it made like a transition. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So right now currently I just zoom in on that, we're just at a low speed and then it jumps right up to a high speed. So I'm just going to drag my keyframe to the right, and now I get this like transitional period. So it's softer. All right. And so that's really kind of the more professional way to do this. So it will slowly transition into playing backwards. All right, let's see, I'm just going to undo a couple of things here. Other thing is if you wanted your clip to suddenly go backwards, I'm going to hold that control or command key down and I'm dragging to the right. And you see I get those double arrows pointing to the left, which means this segment would play backwards. So I press play, you can see I'm going forward, and then all of a sudden it goes backwards, and then it's going to go forward again. All right, so just in review, the difference is I'm holding down the controller command key to just create a keyframe. To split the keyframe, I just click and drag it, and that makes a transition period. To make my clip go backwards, I'm clicking on the keyframe and holding down the control or command key as well. All right, so hopefully that gives you some additional fun things to play with in terms of time remapping, but let me know if you have any questions.